Scrubs.
Welcome back.
It's review time. Full spoilers this time for that little film that we saw.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Woogas. I saw Rogue One again, and you've still only seen it once, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I drew up talking points, because I'm a huge nerd.
Notes.
So we're going to talk about, like, the good things, the bad things, and the things that are just kind of like, Okay. First thing, no title crawl. And that's under the bad category, I felt. But at the same time, I understand why they didn't do it, because the title crawl was always talking about, like, Luke's thing or Leia's thing, and it might have felt like...
I felt neutral about the title crawl.
Yeah. The worst part was just, like, Lucasfilm, long time ago, and there was it felt like there should have been something there other than just cut to space. Maybe, like, a cut to space and then, like, a pan down.
I think the bad thing with no title crawl is that the title crawl is Star Wars.
Yeah. And with that music. You didn't get the music.
Yeah.
You should have still gotten the music, maybe. Maybe not the same, but similar. If you were going to put similar music in, that's where you would have put it in.
And then the good thing for the title crawl is it did help separate this movie from all the rest.
Mm-hmm. Like, this is obviously just its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they did that. That's, it's a good thing. Another good thing is, I actually cared about the parents' death. Mm-hmm. Way more than I cared about, like, any other parent's death in Star Wars I can think about.
I think this was the first time where, like, when the mom died, you were just...
On that same note, on the other side, why did the mom go back? That's some bad parenting.
Right.
Like, what was her plan? Like, I'm gonna roll up to this dude and just, like, hold a gun up to him but not shoot him yet. I'm gonna let him monologue a little bit.
I wanted to know her motivation for returning.
Like, what? She didn't have a plan, which is, like, a recurring theme in this notes. It's like, what was your plan?
Because
the whole movie's winging it.
Her dad... He looked shocked when she showed back up.
It was like, hey, lady, we had a plan.
Like, You're supposed to go hide in the cave. He's like, why are you here?
You're supposed to, go hide with the daughter. They can't kill me. I have to build a giant death machine.
Yeah.
Like, on the good side, everything about the robot. The K2...
K2SO?
Yeah, something like that.
K2SO. He's probably the most...
He's the best part of the movie,
the most sentient...
robot,
human-esque robot we've seen so far, just in like
in the main movies, right?
The way he speaks and talks to everybody.
Well, it's because he's voiced by I knew his name yesterday.
Well, I'm talking about in world.
Yeah, but that's like his wit.
Yeah, the way he communicates and talks, and it sounds very human-esque. He was, the droids have always been used as comic relief. Yeah. And he did a very good job of being the comic relief in this movie.
If you've ever seen a little movie called I, Robot, you're going to get some I, Robot feels there. But you're going to have to push those out of your brain, because Alan Tudyk has a very distinct voice.
Yes.
So, yeah. Unless he's voicing the chicken in Moana, then it's just...
Yeah.
And it's cool. Just another one on the IMDb credit. The city on the Jedi Temple looks really good. Like, everything about the whole atmosphere, and even before that, the trading post, like, the atmosphere felt like Star Wars, It felt like a bunch of weird dudes eating space sushi, and, like...
Yeah, this part can be cut.
Okay.
Of me thinking...
That's fine.
Mos Eisley, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
And we're coming back. It was very much like with Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
When we see that for the first time. And there's just so much going on, but it's really good world building, because you get all these little sneak peeks and snippets of how things work and just how people interact and live.
It's pretty neat. And, like, you get to see a little bit of the Jedi culture that isn't prequel related.
Yes.
You get to see that in-between point where, like, man, things really suck for those Jedi guys. But, they were weird monks, so they probably had it coming anyway.
We got a nice little cameo while they were there.
Which cameo? Oh, was it the I've got the death system, or the death sentence in 12 systems.
He doesn't like you.
I don't like you either.
We get to see those guys again.
Those guys are back, and that's pretty cool. I almost forgot about that one.
Well, technically, we see them for the first time.
Oh,
we see them again.
It's kind of weird if you think about if that's their character introduction. It's like, man, this guy looks good, and then
yeah,
whew. He must have taken that explosion very, very poorly.
He got real rough.
That's probably why he was so pissed off. Is he like?
Yeah.
He probably had friends on that J-named planet that I can't remember the name of. Janie. I've seen the movie twice.
Terrible names.
I can't remember the name of the freaking city with the giant where the Jedi temples used to be. The rebel ambush in that city.
Yes.
Was freaking awesome. And it was a great introduction to how awesome all of the shoot bang scenes in this were going to be. You know.
I think one of the things I can say as ex-military, that attack looked good.
That was an ambush. Also, anybody that had been in any kind of military for 10 minutes would have seen that ambush coming.
Yes.
Because of the way everything was framed. It was like, there's a bunch of dudes running up there.
But there's a bunch of guys, looking at us through scopes and everything up on these rooftops, and we've got these random group of guys coming out of the crowd just walking straight up to us.
Also, in a world where space flight, casual space flight is a thing, hovercraft and all that stuff, why would you ever have to take anything through a city street?
Right.
Why wouldn't it be all right, we have the crystals, bye, they're on the ship now.
I think it's just calling back to the military days. Yeah. It's all about budget cuts.
Yeah, couldn't afford the big old spaceships because it kept getting stolen and no one would replace the codes.
Yeah.
On the bad side, right? Forrest Whitaker's character dies for no reason, in parentheses, Man of Steel. No, Clark! Go!
Yeah. No, we can escape.
No, we have a blind guy. We're gonna get him on the ship.
We can leave now.
And the argument is there isn't much left of me. I'm not a good fighter anymore anyway. My time is over.
It was his
All
character.
of my fighters are here and they're about to get blown up anyway. So
it was his character just saying, you know what, I'm done.
But it felt the first time I saw it at least. Second time wasn't as bad. But by the way. The second, when I watched it the first time, there were certain things that I'm going to talk about that, stuck with me, that, made me not like it as much as I did the second time after I knew those things were coming. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can get over it,
Now, question, because you just got to see it a second time.
Yes.
Does Forrest Whitaker's character say anything along the lines of, I'm done? Or does he... Because
whenever
I
he's
remember
talking
him
to her,
just pretty much just saying, no, just go, leave me.
He says leave me, right? Not leave. I'm trying to remember because I saw it last night. We were supposed to make this video last night, but he says there's no something along the lines of there's no time, or there's go save the rebellion, right? Save the dream, and it's you realize in the time it took you to say save the rebellion, save the dream, we could have been out the door already. It's right over there. We have a blind guy. We have a guy who you made brain dead practically with your giant anime monster.
Which, while we're talking about him, I'm gonna say that guy made an amazing recovery.
One tends to lose one's mind for about 10 minutes.
10 minutes, you'll be all right.
But yeah, that was my he just kind of it felt very Man of Steel the first time I saw it. It was very no, Clark, don't save me. Even though these 14 people will probably... You just remember the fact that they survived the tornado, not the fact that some dude ran into a tornado and is somehow still alive. No, don't save me with your spaceship that will make it out in time. Even though I'm, super important to the rebellion for some reason.
Well,
it's because he knew where the guy was. He knew where
he was an extremist.
Yeah, he was
So even the rebellion really didn't want anything to do with him.
Whoa, you're cutting people's heads off and putting it on YouTube, man. Whoa.
Yeah, we want to take the Empire down, but we want to do it in a civilized fashion.
The next thing on my list is a bad thing. It was CGI. The CGI faces made me want to barf the first time I saw them. They made me cringe so hard it almost ruined the entire movie for me. And it was, I'm sure it's not going to be that way for everyone. It was just
For me, it wasn't as bad because I looked at it from the perspective of, we've come far enough with technology to do this. Sure, it presents us with the uncanny valley, and I think that's what it was. It wasn't that it was so bad, it's that it was at the point where it was just like, I know that isn't real, and that's what makes it look bad.
And the thing is, some of the CGI Tarkin face shots are better than others, and my theory is that, like, the reshoots had a lot to do with that. Like, and the thing is, like, and, you know, I'm not a big Hollywood producer or writer or anything like that, so I don't have room to talk, but, like, just not have Tarkin be a big deal. Just, like, have it be, like, have another dude who's, like, Tarkin's, like, second in command or whatever, and that's who's dealing with the white cape weirdo. You know, it's just like, he's like, okay, so Tarkin's going to take over now that you just proved that this thing's going to do whatever. And he's like, Tarkin can't do that. You know, that would have been fine, right?
I think what they were trying to do
And then he would have just been like, I'm going to go over your head. I'm going to go over Tarkin's head. I'm going to Vader. And that would have been fine.
What they were trying to do is what they had done with the EU, with the books.
Yeah.
Where Tarkin was this huge, big, bad leader who was, like, amazing at his job, and he was ruthless.
I think they just wanted to connect the two movies.
They didn't show that as much with the originals, and so they were trying to build his character up a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it was, for me, I think it was more of a thing. They just want to make sure that, like, hey, these movies are connected.
Yeah.
This one comes before that next one that you love, that everyone went to see in the 70s. But yeah, so I wasn't a huge face of that. Or I wasn't a huge fan of the face of that. Next one is also a bad one. Why can't the bombers be stopped on the Rain Planet? Like, in A New Hope, in any time in Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
You can, and I know why it is. It's because, like, they have to bomb it for the plot. Like,
for the plot. And I think it was...
They can talk. They're like, already in... Here's how it went, right? They were like, okay, hey, you need to stop. We have, like, troops on the ground over there. Like, there's people on that platform. And then they're like, oh, crud. We gotta stop those bombers. And the guy's like, it's too late. They're already engaged. And then it has, like, a whole 30 seconds to a minute of, like, cool X-Wing shots coming in. And I'm like, they could, at any point, when I'm watching it, I'm like, at any point, they could have just been like, hey, you guys should probably just call this off. And I know why they did that. I think they should have just put the X-Wing stuff before they call it in, right? And then they can be like, it's too late. They're already bombing.
And the way I'm choosing to view it is it was... They communicated that scene poorly, like, the way they created it.
Yeah.
Not in the story, but the way it was created for the movie, it was communicated poorly. And I think they could have put just, like, one extra tiny little detail in there, and because everybody's having to come in low, right?
Yeah.
They're flying through those
or the storm.
canyons.
They just would have had to say, we can't talk to them because of the storm.
Yeah, they could have said, like,
that.
we can't reach them.
Yeah.
And, like, or if they'd even just, as Rogue One was coming in, they'd been like, we're flying so low right now, we have no communications.
Yeah, we can't talk to anybody. But then he wouldn't have been able to get his cool signalers like, you gotta kill the guy, you gotta kill him.
Like, if they just put something in there about why we can't stop them yet.
Actually, that was in hyperspace, never mind. So, like, they could have done that, which, for me, and you know, this is a minor thing. Like, it doesn't take away from anything. For me, the CGI face took away from anything more than... Took away from it more than any of these other, like, gripes I have. But good thing, the X-Wing bombers, X-Wings and bombers, look cool. It was a cool scene. It was awesome. It was pretty great. Everything about once the shooting and bombing and fighting starts was amazing and awesome. It was great.
Anytime we actually get to see, like, X-Wings and TIEs and everything flying around fighting each other, I loved it because it reminded me in old war movies of the dogfights. Yeah. Like, I felt like I was getting to watch a dogfight between flying ships.
I know it would have taken away from, like, the deaths that were happening on the ground and everything, but I would have loved to see some cool, like, you know, like, oh, we're coming in, you know, some actual, like... Because there were TIE fighters and X-Wings and everything.
Sort of like how they did for a little bit in Force Awakens.
Yeah, I would have loved... And they do that in this movie, too, but I would have liked to see that here on the ground, like, with the rain and everything, and I think it would have been cool, but they might have had something like that, and it was like, well, that's too much, we gotta cut it. This movie's 2.5 hours long already. Yeah. Sorry, your dogfighting scene gets cut a little bit, you know.
Just wait for the extended cut.
Yeah. Which, you think there'll be an extended cut for this? Because there was a lot of stuff that they shot.
there'll either be an extended cut or like a director's cut.
Yeah.
Or we're just gonna get with the DVD all of the deleted scenes.
Or we're gonna get a book by, was it Garth Edward?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're gonna get a book from Garth in like 5 years that'll tell us what the movie was supposed to be and all the little differences, and we'll make a video about it. Like, another problem. I promise. Like this list isn't all problems. I got good stuff all on the second and third page. But another problem I had once they get to Yavin 4 after they escape the Rain Planet is they have no real plan to get the plans before they leave. Right?
They really don't.
It's literally. Hi, I'm this little girl who knows that there are Death Star plans, and we're gonna go have a suicide mission with like no backup, and everyone's like super on board, which I can get on board with. Like they're all, and they're like, oh, like yeah, we've done horrible things, and we just want to do this one good thing that we know is the right thing, even though it's not for though it's against orders.
If we give up now, we did all that bad stuff for nothing.
But it's one of those Princess Leia things where she's like briefing the troops, and it's like, can we talk to someone who's actually in our military, please? Like, what's the plan? Like, okay, so our plan is to fly to the planet and wing it.
Just like their plan basically consisted of
flying casual.
Like just we're gonna go there, we're gonna get the plans, and we're gonna leave. And everybody's reaction should have been, yeah, great, we understand the idea.
Cool.
But awesome. What are the details here?
Do we have any plan? And like they probably should have had like a little bit, like just a little montage of like some planning, or and there might have been in there, but it might have gotten cut
somebody
for time,
drawing a line on one of those clear boards.
Just like, all right, so this is our plan, and it's just like a ... plan to the planet, like, and all the military guys like look at each other, look back at each other, and they're like, okay, all right, fine, okay, cool. Good thing. Shield generator, or the shield gate, not the shield generator.
Yes.
We've seen shields before in Star Wars, but the idea of like a giant air gate from Spaceballs, the giant air gate from Spaceballs actually being in this movie was awesome.
The fact that they actually show that the entire planet has a shield around it,
because that's always been a big.
The only way onto the planet is through this one gate.
Yeah, and that was always a big thing in Star Wars, right? Like. Okay, so instead of leaving on the other side of the planet with our spaceship, we're going to decide to run this blockade.
Yeah.
We're dead on. And, like, this actually, like, it was a, I thought it was a good plot device to be like, all right, well, this is the reason that we can't just leave.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that's a pretty cool. I think it's kind of weird that it's held together by like just like a bunch, like the whole planet, the whole planet's shield generator is just held together by this little disc on one side.
Yes.
If anything, it should be like a bunch of discs, like from other movies. Maybe I don't know. No, that would have been bad. They would have. It's bad enough that they had other characters from the prequels.
Yes.
Directly in this movie, which actually was fine. I was fine with the what was it, Organa. Senator Organa, right? I was fine with him. I was fine with Mon Mothma, the actress that played Mon Mothma in the prequels, playing Mon Mothma in this one because she looks exactly like young Mon Mothma would. It's pretty scary. They did a better job with her than they did with Princess Leia.
They did a great job with her.
Page 2. This is mostly good stuff, so we don't have to complain as much anymore. Because I really like this movie.
Yes.
So, one of the things is, this isn't a good, this isn't a bad necessarily. It's just like kind of like to say, it's kind of the same of New Hope with stealing the uniforms. I thought that was cool. I also thought that was kind of reused. They probably could have done something different. Maybe if they're going to be doing the sneaking around, but you gotta steal uniforms.
Yeah, I mean. It's not as if they were stealing the idea. It's a common thing.
It's been done in a lot of things before Star Wars, so...
Including real warfare.
Yeah.
So...
Like, that was the Germans' big thing. Like, whoosh. Okay, so this is kind of a bad thing. Kind of like a thing that, like, couldn't be changed. But what's the point in having codes for like all your ships and all like your other stuff if you're not going to change them whenever the pilot who has that code defects? Like, it's an older code, sir, but it seems to check out.
And
why?
It could be one of those things where, when you think about the extreme size of the Empire, it's like, think about how often they've got to end up losing people, like, by them defecting or just disappearing.
Yeah.
If they had to change codes every time that happened over the entire galaxy...
You're right. It's just a little thing that just makes me feel like...
For them, it was probably an accepted risk.
Yeah.
And you'd think, though, after it happening multiple times, to where this accepted risk of them not changing codes has led to the downfall of some of their biggest, like, plans and creations.
You need to have a dedicated team dedicated to changing codes.
Yes.
Like, ooh.
Like, okay, so us not changing the codes allowed the plans to our huge death battle station that kills planets. Maybe we should rethink...
The most expensive thing in the universe.
Yeah.
The most heavily manned thing in the universe.
We might want to rethink our opinion on not changing codes.
Like, just have a dedicated team of, 1,000 people. Just like, alright, this guy isn't checked in. Alright, change his code. Boop, 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 boop. Like, I'm not saying shoot everyone who doesn't have the correct code, but, there's a way to board someone in space before they get through the big giant shield gate.
Or have a separate area, like the real military uses. Like, hey, this person isn't really checking out. Before we let them through, move them over here off to the side and just go check that out real quick.
Characters' deaths felt real and like they meant something.
Yes.
Unlike other Star Wars films,
Well, in other films,
and other
a little
films
more
in general,
campy and happy, and when people die, you're just kind of like, oh no, they're dead.
But we got funny stuff over here.
Yeah.
The tone was perfect for this war movie in Star Wars.
When people die, with the pilot. When they toss the grenade in the ship right after he gets done sending out the message.
Like, this is for you, man.
And he looks over and you're just like, no, 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 no. And the ship blows up. You're like, oh no. Oh, he's dead. Oh, and now this guy's dead. Oh, and now this guy, everybody's dying. The plan's falling apart.
Oh no. But at the same time, the plane's not falling apart because right before they die, they accomplished the thing that they needed to really conveniently in some places. But
everybody knew it was a suicide mission.
Yeah, they
went into it knowing that, so they were willing to sacrifice themselves.
So from now on, if I ever have to do anything dangerous that I don't think is going to work, the Force is with me, I am with the Force. I am one with the Force, the Force is with me, I am one with the Force.
And you'll be alright.
It'll be fine until I finish doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm going to get blown up. I didn't catch it the first time. I like the fact that backpack machine gun guy killed all of the black, Death Trooper guys. I didn't notice that before, but it was the last guy that he shot threw a grenade and killed him. But
he gets all of them.
He gets all of them, but then they get him, and it's poetic, kind of, right? Yeah. Oh,
I like how he goes out as a man too.
Oh yeah.
His buddy dies, and he's just like, screw it. Gets up, he starts shooting, and he's getting shot. Real platoon moment. Just.
Also, this movie kind of why do stormtroopers wear armor? The littlest pew pew guns, just the first part of the movie where you see a stormtrooper get shot by that captain guy, and he's like pew pew, and they just kind of crumple and fall over, and it's like, well, why are you even wearing armor?
What doesn't get addressed in a lot of the movies is that most of those guys, their bodies would be utterly destroyed by the shots that they're taking. Yeah. And a lot of them actually end up surviving.
According to the books, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And because it's sort of like if you're wearing a bulletproof vest and you get shot, you're going to feel it. You might fall onto the ground, but you'll most likely be okay. It's typically how it is with their armor. And then also it's the fact that their armor is an environment suit.
Are all the stormtroopers do that? I thought because I know clone troopers, according to because they can survive in space or whatever.
It varies depending on which story you're reading.
Also,
in which movie,
the new swamp troopers or whatever they're called, the dew troopers or whatever they're called, they just have regular pants on. Yeah. So that's not an environment suit.
No, but the full armored suits, it's pretty much gas mask. They've got a heads-up display inside their helmet. Yeah. It's supposed to be a sealed suit so they can fight in atmosphere or out of atmosphere, like in space. Like the scene where Vader comes walking out and he's just standing there watching the ship fly away and he's got the troopers with him. That's because they've all got their sealed suits.
Okay, well, my thoughts on that was, like, that's the cargo bay, right?
And it was completely open at the time.
It was? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the vacuum of space? Because I didn't get that. Because you always see, like, ships leaving and stuff. And,
yeah.
I thought it was more of, like, a thing where, like, there's a force
that
field
scene
there,
it was, and I think the only reason I caught it is because from the knowledge I've got from reading the books about, like,
I didn't have to justify that to myself, because I was like, there's always, like, there's always the giant open cargo bays in Star Wars with just a little bit of force field keeping them from getting whatever. Moving on, the CGI fighter pilots felt great.
Yes.
Like, they were, like aside from the CGI Tarkin face, bringing fighter pilots from the old movies, technically, that should still be alive during this point, and putting them in, like, Red Leader, and like...
Yeah, we see how Luke...
We see Biggs, too, right?
Yeah. We find out how Luke gets his call sign.
Because Red 5's a fat piece of shit and can't pull up.
Red 5 dies.
Like, super hard.
And so,
like, he gets it bad.
That's a quick turnaround on that call sign, too. You think about it, because it wasn't too long before Luke got it, and they called him Red 5. They were just like, hey, our buddy just died, but you can have his call sign. Totally.
I mean, we gotta, like... I mean... Red 5 isn't really a call sign, is it? Like, calling someone Iceman's kind of like a call sign. Red 5 is just like, this is the name on your ship. This is the number on your ship, so we know who to call, where's what. It's more of a, you know. But I'm sure, like, it was like, man, we just lost one of our favorite overweight pilots.
At least we still got Porkins!
Yeah! Nothing bad can happen to Porkins, man. No. He's a beast in the air. Stay on target! I loved that everybody dies in the... Oh, sorry, Candy. I love that everyone dies in the end.
Yeah.
I love it.
There was no, Deus Ex, don't worry, like, we're going to save a couple of them. They're going to make it out in the nick of time.
And we're going to...
Nope. Just dead.
But there was a lot of that. There was a lot of, like, oh, I'm hanging off the end of this bridge. Oh, that was twice where she was hanging off bridges and should have fallen. But, like, I understand why she didn't. But I'm glad that they didn't, like, find a really convenient ship and make it out. Even though they really could have. Like, all it would have taken was, like, what I thought was going to happen was, so robot guy dies, right? And the robot's death was probably the hardest hitting part of the whole... of all these human deaths, of all these human deaths that felt, like, really cool and really, like, meaningful, the robot's death was the one that hit me the hardest. I was like... But my theory, like, as this was going along, you know how he, like, stuck his like, wrist penis into the back of the other robot?
Yeah.
I thought he was going to transfer his consciousness into that guy, or, like, a copy of himself or whatever, or reprogram that guy, and that guy would go steal a because you know they can pilot.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to go steal a TIE fighter, and I thought we'd get the scene from the trailer where the TIE fighter just kind of rises up while she's walking onto the balcony. But that wasn't even in the movie. The recuts were still so extensive that
most of the stuff you see in the trailers didn't end up in the movie.
Not even a little bit. And I didn't even notice it until the second time I saw it.
I actually like it when they do that.
It's nice. Like, it was impossible to be spoiled by the trailers.
You get to see stuff... You get the idea of what's going to be in the movie, but nothing gets spoiled for you.
I'm a little bit disappointed we didn't get to see stormtroopers wading into the water, like, you know, run through the jungle, and we didn't get to see the guy walking into the water and having his cape flow along there.
Yeah.
It was just like, that would have been cool to see. But, like, obviously, from the trailers, there's, like, a whole scene that got changed or cut out where they're all running towards AT-ATs. Yeah. And, like, people are getting blown up left and right. The plans are on her hip.
Because in the movie, they're running away from the AT-ATs.
Well, obviously, they didn't have anywhere to go towards them. I assume they had to make it to somewhere to go up or do something. But I am glad that everyone died and that, like, it tied it up and it felt good. It felt better.
As weird as that sounds.
Yeah, like, I love these characters, but I'm glad that I don't have to see them ever again, and that this is a complete story that I never have to hear about again. Or
it's all wrapped up.
It's fine.
They're not going to try and drag a sequel out of it.
Yeah, and they could, but whenever the original storyline money and the Han Solo movies and the Boba Fett movies dry up, they're going to come back to it.
I mean, think about it. We're getting a Boba Fett, a Han Solo. We're getting the X-Wings.
Yeah.
Like, They've got plenty other stories to
They
do.
got plenty of members to throw at us. They got plenty of the members.
Hey, member?
Member Mos Eisley.
Member Han Solo.
Yeah.
Member Chewbacca.
What's the name of the guy they have playing Lando?
Is Donald Glover doing it?
Yeah, Donald Glover.
Yeah.
Remember Donald Glover? He was in Community.
I'm excited for that because I love him.
Yeah. The only problem is Lando's not like a main ass character, so it's kind of like he's gonna have to be.
He is
this.
with Han's story.
Yeah, because he's like, so you lost a whole spaceship in a card game, then won a whole mining station in a card game. What kind of high stakes ass poker are you playing?
Very high stakes.
Another I loved everything with the battle scenes. Basically anything that was CGI schlock, I enjoyed it. It was just like ATSTs, X-Wings, like TIE fighters, the new U-Wings,
the battles felt full.
They felt
like you
real,
could tell there was a lot going on. It wasn't just this small group fighting this small group. They do a good job of showing you, like, no, look, there's aerial combat going on. We've got these freaking AT-ATs walking around destroying stuff. Then we got the ground troops over here and the ground troops over here, and we've still got all this other stuff going on way over there. And it felt gritty, and it felt like chaos. The chaos of combat.
And that's the thing, like, with other Star Wars movies, like, prequels-wise, like, it's gonna be, like, I'm a Jedi! There's stuff going on, but I'm still cool and collected. Nobody was cool and collected in this movie.
No, everybody's freaking out. As soon as the combat starts, everybody's like, oh god, what's going on?
I think I heard a guy say, like, oh god, no! When his buddy got shot. I didn't hear any Wilhelm screams. Did you hear any?
No, I didn't catch a single one.
There's gotta be one somewhere.
Yeah, we missed it somewhere.
Because that's like...
Like...
I was like, oh, that guy's gonna fall!
I can excuse no title crawl. But if you're going to tell me that there was no Wilhelm scream in this Star Wars movie, I'm going to throw a tantrum.
There have been Star Wars movies